Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.
Aloha, I'm Akane Kashiwazaki, a student at the University of Hawaii's Academy for Creative Media and a former HIKI NŌ intern.
And I'm Terrence Nahina, also an ACM student at UH and former HIKI NŌ intern.
Welcome to this special edition of the nation's first statewide student news network.
For the next half hour, Akane and I will be sharing some of the most outstanding stories from the winter 2015 quarter of HIKI NŌ with you.
Terrence and I both served as HIKI NŌ interns as part of our coursework for ACM.
While HIKI NŌ students create news stories and ACM students create short films, we found that both make use of the same tools of visual storytelling.
The stories you're about to see prove that Hawaii's middle and high school students can become very skilled at using these tools.
That's right. When it comes to visual storytelling, Hawaii students HIKI NŌ can do.
One thing I did as a HIKI NŌ intern was edit a tutorial video on how to shoot a sequence. It teaches HIKI NŌ students how to break an action into separate elements or shots, then assemble those elements to tell a visual story. The following report from Wheeler Middle School does an excellent job both verbally and visually of telling the story of a girl's quest to climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
Climbing Mount Kilimanjaro was amazing. I really bonded with the people who I had climbed with. Reaching the summit, that was the moment when I knew I had literally just done what most people don't do in their lives.
Planning to climb Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Africa, took time and effort.
I trained in North Carolina. We did a 4-mile hike pretty much every weekend because the first time I was barely making it, but at the end it was like I could run the trail.
Being a military dependent also meant moving during training.
When we moved here, we were doing Kana Trail and Diamond Head because it's all stairs and things like that, just to build my muscles and my legs.
In addition to strengthening her muscles, she had to become mentally prepared.
16 more laps to go. It's just a matter if you think you can do it, because after the first 2 days, it's more mental than physical. I just don't want to do this anymore. I haven't had a shower in days. I just want to get off this mountain.
This feat is even more impressive considering Macy was diagnosed 3 years ago with a serious medical condition.
EE is an autoimmune disorder, which is when you eat certain foods, your body sees them as toxins. That's where this trouble begins. And it can cause your throat to swell so that you can't breathe, or acid reflux, or anything just as simple as being really sick for a few days or out of it. I can't have this. It has vegetable oil. And my mom was looking to see if there were people who had EE in the area or who had something like it, so that I could meet somebody who was going through the same thing. And she just came across the Climb Kilimanjaro for EE website, and she was like, "Hey Macy, do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Climbing was a way to meet new people and also for the group of climbers to raise awareness and money to support research for EE.
We all raised $98,000 for this disease, and that's more than I ever could have hoped for, and plus I summited, so that's pretty cool.
Macy definitely caught the climbing bug.
You can do anything, maybe not eat all the foods, but you can do anything you want to in life, regardless of this disease. Just one more lap. I got this. I got this down.
This is Matthew Stock from Wheeler Middle School for HIKI NŌ.
As part of my HIKI NŌ internship, I produced the sample story that was used to teach students the importance of pacing in editing. Just like tempo and rhythm in music, pacing plays a huge role in setting the mood and emotional tone of a news story. Speaking of pacing, the intense pace of education set by overachieving high school students has led to the abuse of a legal substance found in energy drinks and coffee. Here's Moanalua High School's story on overcaffeinated teens.
Popping open a bottle of caffeine doesn't seem like a bad idea. That is, until you're drinking one day after day after day.
Yeah, I think last quarter, about maybe 20% of the time, I was just staying up all night.
I am in yearbook, I'm in broadcast, I'm a class historian, wherein I do all the designing, all the media aspects of our class events. And I currently work 2 or 3 jobs.
This isn't unusual to hear from high school students who are battling the even more competitive rush to do well in school and be a well-rounded person.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest driving factor. Just they want to set themselves up to get the best job, and throughout high school they've been told it's really important to do well, it's really important to get into the good colleges.
Advanced placement teachers like Mr. Sean Takahashi are oftentimes worried about the behaviors of their students, especially when it comes to sleep and caffeine.
I think a lack of sleep, I think part of it is they feel like it helps them, so they just keep on drinking it and out of habit. But there's days where it's definitely, you can see it in their eyes where they didn't get a lot of sleep and they need something to help keep them going.
The American Academy of Pediatrics suggests a limit of 100 milligrams of caffeine a day for teenagers, but on average, a single can of a top energy drink has over 1.5 times that amount.
On a daily basis, I drink about 2 cans of caffeine, or of Monster, or 1 Monster, 1 coffee, either or, but I drink about like 2 cans worth of caffeine per day.
According to a Livestrong website article, caffeine does work to provide a temporary jolt of energy, but it can also pose serious health problems to adolescents, including stomach problems and anxiety, and even impaired mental focus.
Because of caffeine, yeah, I do worry about my health. Sometimes I do worry about how much sugar intake I do take. But again, I do feel the need to accomplish so many things, so it runs through my mind, but it's not a priority.
Because if I don't drink caffeine, I can't function in school, and I don't do good, I can't talk, I don't want to speak to anyone, I get cranky.
But it might be worse that teens are still feeling the effect of caffeine, even after they stop drinking it.
I think part of it is they want to do everything, like they enjoy the things that they're doing and they enjoy doing well, so they want to keep on doing it. And then I think part of it is just the pressure where it's almost the easiest thing to give up instead of missing the test or not doing well on the test and getting the B in the class is almost worse for them than the losing 3 hours of sleep every night for it.
Despite the health risks of caffeine, a growing number of teens are continuing to rely on caffeinated drinks to give them the boost to do all the things they want to do. This is Erin Iwasa from Moanalua High School for HIKI NŌ.
At UH Manoa's Academy for Creative Media, we learn how to tell dramatic stories through moving pictures and sound. In HIKI NŌ, students use the same tools, but their stories come from real life. Here's one from Campbell High School about a teenager who used the art of dance to cope with the real-life drama of his parents' divorce.
He takes advanced placement classes, attends multiple after-school clubs, and then performs for dance studios around the island. Christian Jacob Nguyen may seem like he has a lot on his plate, but for this junior, a busy schedule is the least of his problems.
The way it happened was I was just sitting in my room, and then my mom and my dad came to talk to me, and at first I was just crying because I knew like this was gonna happen, and I didn't want this to happen because I feared about my sisters and I feared about myself as well.
Christian's parents separated a couple weeks before he was to attend his first day at James Campbell High School.
I had to go through what most divorced kids had to go through, and that is watching your family separate and slowly separate as you grew up, you know?
He was faced with a dilemma: stay with dad and live in Hawaii, or go with mom and his sisters to live in Kentucky.
You know, my sisters gave me so much happiness, and you know, it was so hard watching them leave at the airport, you know? I really miss them so much because like I really want to watch them grow, you know? Whenever I wouldn't be with my friends or I wouldn't be with, you know, my dance studio, I'll be with them. They were so young, they didn't really understand what was going on, and I really felt for them because I didn't want them growing up to be, you know, lost or, you know, confused about life.
Christian chose to stay with his father in Pearl City. In the morning, that's a 1-hour bus ride to Campbell High School.
I still love him because I know he still supports me, and he does talk to me whenever he has a chance to because he's always working, and I support him for that. You know, he gives me so much to be emotional about because, you know, he gives me a place to stay. He gives me a place to live. I got comfortable with it because, you know, a house is a home, you know, and any house is fine.
Life may have pushed Christian to the ground, but he got back up and started dancing.
Dancing gave me a lot of life when I really didn't want to live my life anymore, you know, and throughout this time of my life, I was really introverted. I really didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't really want to make friends anymore. Dancing, it was just a way for me to get away from myself, get away from all this drama, and I'm glad that dancing kept me alive to this day, and I'm glad that dancing kept me happy throughout this moment. Dancing offered me so much. It offered me a way to get out of my shell, and it offered me a way to make friends. It offered me a way to connect to other people.
Although his mom and sisters are thousands of miles away, he still had family in places he did not expect.
At the playground dance studio, I made so much friends. They'll help you when you're down. They'll know when you're sad. They'll know when you're happy. I'm actually currently working my way up there to become a choreographer at the playground dance studio. And I'm so inspired to just teach other people what I've learned through other people. And that's what dance brought to me, because dance is sharing, dance is a community.
Christian's love for dance symbolizes his perseverance through his life struggles. This is Jacob Roy from James Campbell High School for HIKI NŌ.
HIKI NŌ students often lend fresh perspectives to controversial topics that polarize communities. The following report about the 30-meter telescope project on Mauna Kea is by a student from Kuo'okala Milolii Hipuu Virtual Academy. He tells the story from his point of view, that of a native Hawaiian who honors his culture but also loves science. This story first aired about 2 months before protests on Mauna Kea led to a temporary delay or cooling off period in construction.
My name is Hoku Subiono, and I am a student at Kuo'okala in Milolii. I love science and technology, and I'm actively involved in web design and computer technology. I'm also Hawaiian. I respect my culture and its values. In October, my classmates and I took these pictures at the groundbreaking ceremony of the 30-meter telescope. The 30-meter telescope at 34,000 square feet at 18 stories tall would be the largest telescope on Mauna Kea. Scientists say it will be 100 times better than any other telescope and will revolutionize astronomy.
If you took all the telescopes on Earth right now, it's going to be better than all of them combined. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe, but it's true.
I was surprised at the protest how passionate my people were in opposition to the telescope. Many Hawaiians see it as further desecration and destruction of their cultural heritage as well as their natural resources.
We have done many things together, but for this, I cannot stand and support you. You are about to try and make sacred the act that would desecrate our highest temple. We already know and we have seen how the UH maintains and takes care of this mountain. It does not.
I wanted to know more, so I reached out to several different people about their thoughts on TMT. I asked Mayor Billy Kanoi, a native Hawaiian, about why he supports the project.
I believe celestial navigation, astronomy, is a sacred science.
I asked Sandra Dawson, who works for the TMT, about the environmental impact studies concerning the project.
We went way beyond what most people do when they do one. We had 7 public meetings for our scoping. We went out into the community. We had 7 more meetings when we did our draft EIS. It's about 1,000 pages in 2 volumes. And at the end, in 2010, when it was completed, the governor, Lingle at the time, signed it, approved it, and no one challenged it in court.
I asked Kayla Hopascati, an environmental activist, about her position regarding the environmental impact of the TMT.
The TMT's environmental impact statement, which is only a state level, by the way, it should be federal, has adopted the same positions that the federal one already came up with, and that is that 30 years of astronomy development on Mauna Kea has resulted in adverse and significant impact to the natural and cultural resources of Mauna Kea. What our position is on the mountain is that we want no further development.
And those are just a few of the generous people who shared their opinions and arguments with me. Clearly this is a complicated issue, without a simple solution. I'm still torn. I want to preserve the places that mean so much to my cultural heritage, but I also see that the project will bring new understanding of our universe and provide educational opportunities to students in Hawaii. I hope to revisit this in 10 years' time and see for myself if TMT does in fact keep their commitments, both to help expand our knowledge of the universe and to be respectful stewards of our cultural sites. This is Hoku Subiono, reporting for HIKI NŌ.
Growing up with adversity, surviving, then using the experience to teach others how to cope. It's been a winning formula for many successful dramatic films. But when it's a real-life story told in a news feature format, it can be even more compelling. Such is the case with this next story from the HIKI NŌ students at HP Baldwin High School.
Baldwin High School senior McKayla Wandell is a lot like her dad. They share a sense of humor and positive outlook on life, but that wasn't always the case.
My father became addicted to meth before I was ever born, so he'd already been suffering for a while when I came into the world.
Growing up, Michaela's life was anything but normal. Having a father who was addicted to crystal methamphetamine meant Michaela didn't see much of him as a child.
Growing up with a father addicted to meth was, of course, difficult because he was consumed with his addiction and he wasn't necessarily able to support me and my brother. When my dad went to jail for the first time, me and my brother moved in with our grandparents, and they're the people who raised me, and without them, I don't know where I would have been.
At one point, drug addiction even caused Michaela's father to live on the streets. But when Michaela was 10 years old, he became clean, and over the years they were able to rebuild their relationship.
He's a totally different person. He's my dad now, and so I'm able to talk to him about anything and joke around, and I can actually spend time with my father now.
Michaela's unusual childhood has inspired her to give back to people going through rough times.
I volunteer at places like the Hawaiian Meth Project, where I do meth outreach, and then at Feed My Sheep, because my father was homeless for a period of time when I was growing up, and so it's my way of giving back to people who are in the same situation.
Michaela also realized that she could use her story to inspire others. She was invited to speak at TEDx Youth at Seabury Hall.
My message was that no matter where you come from, you're still able to do whatever you want.
Don't listen to these statistical profiles that you should be anything else than what you want to be, because you can do it.
A student there who had never really heard this came up to me afterwards and was he was in tears, and he was thank you for telling me that, because I had never heard that before. And it really touched me because I was able to help someone else be inspired to believe in themselves, and it was a really important moment for me.
Michaela plans to continue inspiring others by sharing her story. She says she achieved success by embracing her past, not ignoring it.
Those are all things I'm really proud of, and I wouldn't have done or found if it wasn't for those harder times as a child. So I wouldn't change anything about my life, and I think it's a happy life.
This has been Jessica Pressman from HP Baldwin High School for HIKI NŌ.
We all know the saying, opposites attract. But what about opposites have more in common than you think? That's the moral of this next story by students from Waianae Intermediate School about a young woman who competes in beauty pageants, plays football, and sees more similarities between them than differences.
And when I win, I get excited and happy.
13-year-old Shardenei Luning has been competing in beauty pageants since she was 4 years old.
One time we went with my cousin, and I seen her on stage with her dresses and her mom doing her makeup, and I wanted to try putting on makeup and putting on dresses.
Okay, so this process normally takes 30 minutes.
Since then, Shardenei has participated in 45 pageants and has won about 15 crowns. But tiaras aren't the only type of crown this beauty queen wears.
Not all girls, they play sport. They play sports like basketball and baseball, but I don't think anyone would play a physical contact sport.
That sport is tackle football, and according to the National Federation of State High School Associations, less than 1% of girls play it.
We don't cut Shardenei any slack, even though she's a girl. I mean, we work her hard, just like any other boy on the team, and we treat her just like anybody else.
Shardenei has played on the Waianae Tigers Junior Midgets Pop Warner football team for 2 years now, as an offensive guard and cornerback.
Let's go!
But she didn't just learn the rules of the game. As the only girl on the team, football has taught her how to tackle challenges both on and off the field.
The boy on the football team didn't like me because I was a girl playing football. So he would pick on me when I got to practice, and during practice he would push me, hit me, and say mean things to me. Made me feel sad sometimes, but there were all the other people on the team that kept giving me positive advice.
One of those people was her coach, who taught her a valuable lesson.
Ignore the people that are mean to you and try your best to enjoy what you do because you enjoy doing it.
She's a hard worker. I really love her. She's tough. She really shaped the boys up on this team.
Facing the boys also required Shardenei to tap into her pageant experience, a trick she learned from her mother.
The best advice my mom gave me was to never give up and try your best, to have fun at what you're doing, because in pageants, things don't go your way. Football is the same. There are times that you win and times that you lose.
No matter what the outcome, Shardenei knows the most important thing is to have fun.
You mess up, but if you try your best at what you're doing, then the outcomes are better.
Trying her best and handling problems with grace is what makes Shardenei a definite beauty on stage,
like a movie star,
but a beast on the field.
Go.
This is Amy Neves from Waianae Intermediate School for HIKI NŌ.
A recent demographic study of the Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences membership showed that women are grossly underrepresented in the film industry. Well, my generation of women filmmakers is about to change all of that, the same way Aisha Yamamoto is being heard above the crowd in the traditionally male-dominated world of DJs. Here's her story from HIKI NŌ students at King Intermediate.
When I grow up, I want to be a DJ.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.
When you're in middle school, going to a school dance is a real treat. It's an even bigger treat if your classmate is the one mixing the beats.
I'm Aisha Yamamoto, and I'm a 7th grader at King Intermediate School, and I'm a school DJ. I wasn't actually planning to start DJing, but I took a summer school course, and I took this media class, and we did a lot of photography and video editing, but at the end we did DJing, and it was really fun and exciting, and all I could think about was how I wanted just to continue to explore DJing.
I was shocked. I didn't realize that middle school had dances. Knowing that was already interesting, and then knowing that she wanted to be a DJ, first of course I said, well, how did that happen? And so she shared with me that she had learned all of these DJing techniques and strategies from a class from the summertime. And so it was an exciting opportunity for her, so I was happy for her.
It's an exciting opportunity that requires a lot of hard work. While most students spend their lunch in the cafeteria, Aisha and the other King DJs are in the school studio, picking the perfect songs and assembling playlists to keep the crowd energized and on the dance floor.
What I enjoy most about DJing school dances are being able to see how the crowd responds and reacts to my DJing. And since DJing opens a whole other world of music, it's really cool to see how other people respond to it.
All the professional DJ equipment that the students use was provided by a teacher in school, and that opened up a unique opportunity for the students.
I get to learn how to use new technology and software, and I get to connect with the crowd in a way that most people don't get to experience.
And their hard work pays off. They play at the school dances, including a special 8th grade banquet, and sometimes even dances for other schools. Thanks to summer school, Aisha discovered one of her greatest passions and a lesson she'll remember for the rest of her life.
Girls make great DJs, and I love DJing.
This is Bailey Nakano from King Intermediate for HIKI NŌ.
We hope you've enjoyed watching these outstanding stories from the 2015 winter quarter of HIKI NŌ as much as we've enjoyed presenting them to you.
As ACM students learning filmmaking at the college level, We appreciate how fluent Hawaii's middle and high schoolers have become in visual storytelling through HIKI NŌ.
Tune in next week for more proof that Hawaii students HIKI NŌ can do.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo, and by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.